Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, February 27, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call tomorrow, Friday, 28th of the month, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Commitment unlocks the doors of imagination, allows vision, and gives us the right stuff to turn our dreams into reality. James Womack. When we connect to certain frequency, energy sources, our body-mind is a channel for the inexhaustible spiritual source of energy, love and creativity. Inexhaustible. And it is found only in the now, present moment. The more present any of us are, the more our body opens to this manifesting power, and the richer our experience of this life becomes. With a consistent, relaxed yet focused awareness on what we want instead of what we do not want, we will naturally and continuously manifest amazing things. Everything, and I mean everything, we need is inside of us. This entire universe and its divine consciousness is our very nature. This has total command over all the elements, atoms, and thought forms in existence. This is the truth of who we are. We were told by others that we are a body, a name, identity, that has certain beliefs and limitations. These are all ideas about who we are and only a fraction of the truth of what and who we truly are. To fully comprehend the powerful manifesting beings that we are, we simply need to experience it for ourselves. To have this experience, we need to access our infinite potentiality by practicing dropping deeply inside. There is a deep stillness and silence within each and every one of us, always, that is intimately connected to the all-loving, divine, universal intelligence in the present moment. See, if you're in the ego mind in yesterday and tomorrow, things get muddled. They get confusing, and they're not clear. This is why so many of us have difficulties with comprehending the fact that we're magnets, and none of us are exempt from it. There exists an inner knowing and understanding that we are all-powerful and extremely magical. This body, mind, and this universe are a magical hologram in which we can create anything we desire at any time. When we have consistent positive flow of intention and high emotional energy toward any desired outcome, this sacred magical universe has to assist us in the present moment. Now, we may draw while in yesterday and tomorrow, and our intentions clear, but do not manifest. Now, the great secret here is in what each of these Those are 3 steps I just shared with you. 3 steps all have in common the real power of manifesting is only possible when we are truly showing up in the present moment. Most of us on this planet in this very now moment do not show up in the present moment. We show up in yesterday or tomorrow. As I have shared before, before we go to bed at night, we've got so many thoughts and so many things that are whirling around that are going, and they're either yesterday or tomorrow or the next day or a month from now or a year from now. And we're overloaded with that every day. The instant we stop being 100% engaged in with our now experience of this life is by getting up in your head about the past or future, life loses its wonderful flavor. Deeper spiritual meaning and overall divine manifesting experience. With an open and centered energy, our thoughts manifest from our core creative selves, and we magically co-create our life. Sounds simple, doesn't it? When we begin these meditations, we find a comfortable position. We have no outside distraction. We relax into our bodies. We are as still as a statue, or as possibly can be, and we're focused on the breath rising and falling. That is the now. That is the present moment. And we do this moment to moment to moment. See, the mind can never ever catch the present moment. When it actually does catch up, the mind is no longer there. You reach a state of no mind or nirvana. Everything you want is contained within this universe. And this universe only exists in this moment. Why would you look at any place else for what you want? Manifesting energy is only found in the here and now. And there's more of it than we ever could use. The present moment is more amazing than anything that the mind can conceive of, and is the only place that we truly exist. It's our choice. You may decide, once you surrender your life to this present moment, for many days and weeks, you will have a shift in consciousness that is so profound that your life will never be the same. This is a dynamic transformation. It will unfold through you, and you'll see that manifesting your desires is effortless and joyful. Miraculous, synchronistic events will become your everyday life. A sense of inner peace will prevail, and within each moment, there will only be time for you to shine your light onto the world. Surrendering to the present moment is how you bring truth, vision, purpose, and meaning to your life, and step into being the divine, magnificent being you truly are. Somewhere along the line, if we all got misplaced and we have not rediscovered, so to speak, who and what we really truly are. Now, one might think that this is how life is. This is, you come into a body, you're birthed, and you experience a life for however long it may be. And then you leave that body and that life. But we're trained. We are trained from the very beginning of that life. Now, since we do not have any way of comparing anything, we go with it. We go with it. We listen to things that others convey to us. And what? We're an open book, right? We're a sponge, so we just absorb it. We take it all in. We're not judging, we're not analyzing. We just take it in. And as these bodies grow and experience more, we compile and configure different experiences and how we operate and what our interests, what our convictions, our desires, our wants, our needs are. But we're taught something that's quite unusual. It's different. It's way out of the ordinary. We're taught that we are not powerful beings. And that doesn't register. We're taught that we're just plain people in life. There's no such thing as easy peasy. And everything is a challenge. Everything is compelling. It's disruptive. And when you look at the life that others have designed for you, you begin to realize, some of us begin to realize, is that, hey, wait a minute. This is not fitting. This is not fitting. This is not the life I choose to live. Now, see, some of us, because we've been so trained, will believe, well, that's blasphemous. You should be grateful for this life. We're grateful for the life. But when we look at the life and you know that within that body you are a pure conscious, omnipotently powerful, supreme being, abundant, manifesting supreme being that never dies. So that would mean that if you were to believe that and embrace it and discover it, then all you would need to do is you would manifest in the now 24/7 whatever it was that or is that you wish to have occur or to come into your life that you can experience. Doesn't have to be a material thing. Could be anything. Could be a relationship. Could be anything on the planet. And in that presence of the God that you are within that body, you will bring it into your life. Now, one might say, well, then how come it doesn't happen? Because we have all been trained so much and mastered so much by the ego mind that that's all we know. It's the analogy of the fleas in the jar. You have the lid on the jar, and the fleas keep jumping and jumping and jumping, and they'll hit the lid, right? And they'll keep jumping and jumping. Then eventually they won't hit the lid. They'll just jump high enough at the top of the jar, and they'll come back down. Now, if you take that lid off, they will not know to jump out of that jar. They will have been so conditioned that they'll just jump as high as the lip of that jar and then back down. It's no different than us. We are so conditioned that we will not jump out of that jar. No matter what, we just won't. So we are contained through information that is fed to us on a continual basis to believe the opposite of who and what we are. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. And then what we do, some of us will do, is that we decide that we're going to discover who and what we are in these bodies. That we're going to go in. And even though it may be a little scary to some, because some people have shared with me that it's too I'm afraid of what I might discover. Well, that's silly. It's all an illusion anyway. So you go in there and you find certain things, right, that you've been carrying with you, and you say, does this serve me the greater good? You go, absolutely not. Then why am I carrying it? I'm going to let it go. So we kind of go in and we clean house. Forgive ourselves for everything across the board, whatever it may be, and begin a deep, eternal love with ourselves. And practice being in the now. It does not mean that we float, we kind of move out of the now because of the ego mind and distractions in the material physical world. But we keep that constant, that we know what's happening and we know how to redirect. We redirect ourselves knowingly into the now. And then one might say, well, okay, so you always have to meditate to be in the now? No, you practice enough in meditation. You will remind yourself that you're deeply grateful for the very moment you are in. That's the now. You slow down. You do not rush at all. You'd be amazed at what happens when you consciously say, you know what? I'm just going to flow with this. I have these things to do. I will do them. But with no hecticness. You know that feeling? We all get it when we're, we seem to be pushing ourselves or trying to get ourselves going faster, or we think of something and that agitates, and then we rush things. None of us are exempt from it. But then when you become aware of it, not through judgment, you just say, okay, I know where I'm going, but I'm going to go this way. I don't care to go that way. Been there so many times, I can't count anymore how many times I've been there. And then what happens is what? Slowly but surely, you begin to realize that most just about everything that you have believed about this life is not true. It might be a little true, but it's not a big true. That you're the opposite of not being powerful. You are powerful. See, you're the opposite of not being special. You are special. You are unique. You go from not being loved to being deeply, eternally loved. A lot of us don't love ourselves based upon the information that we have compiled, given to us by others. That's what happens to all of us. Have you ever done this? Maybe you have. You get to a certain stage in life, and you recall how your mother or father, how they, their body languages and stuff, and how they responded. And you then catch yourself doing the same thing. You ever done that? And you say to yourself, that reminds me exactly what Mom used to do, or Mother used to do, or Father used to do. Because we learn from watching. Do you know that this civilization has been educated completely wrong? I'm not kidding you. Completely, absolutely wrong, if you want to use that word. Nonsensical. Well, why is that? We have been designed to learn through what? Seeing. That's where it's at, seeing. And then someone might say, well, what about blind people? They use Braille, but they still see. You don't have to have eyes to see. So then, you watch and you learn. What did you do as a kid? What most of the time? You remember when you were really little? What did your mother or your father or your brother or sister, or what kind of books did you look at? Books with pictures, didn't you? We all did. We liked the pictures. We weren't too interested in the words. We would figure out by looking at the pictures. If someone gave you a child's book with no pictures, would you look at it? Probably not. But if it had colorful pictures of scenes and situations, you would definitely look at it. We are visual creatures, these bodies, and we learn through watching. We copy. What do you think we do in this life? We watch others and we copy them. Now, we don't look at it that way. We just say, well, I watched this and I learned from it, and then I was able to do it. But I've spoken about this before, but it is absolutely on the mark. And when we become clear and aware of that, look at how much quicker you will pick things up. Now, sometimes you'll watch it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And you'll pick up something new every time. And I know this sounds strange to many, but because of how we have been handled, but you watch, you learn. This is what we've done throughout existence. We watch, we learn. You could be in the co-pilot seat of a plane, truly so. And after a long period of time, you can watch the pilot, could be a friend of yours or whatever, and you can see what they do, what the checklist is, and everything else over and over again. And I could guarantee you would be able to fly that plane. Now, what comes in is your confidence, your faith, and your trust in yourself in this universe. Those are key. But if you sit there and say, oh, I could never do that, not in a million years, then most likely you'll never do it. But a childlike curiosity, and you said to yourself, you know what? I bet you if I watched you enough that I could fly this plane. That's confidence, see, in oneself. Huge difference. You have probably experienced that. When you do have that solid confidence, you feel so much more empowered than when you're doubting yourself. And you're iffy this, iffy that. And this is why I so often say, this is all about you. It's it. When you realize that, this is all about me. It's all about how I think, how I feel about me. It's how I love myself or not love myself. It's how I love others. I don't love myself, I'm not going to love anybody else, even though I can pretend I do. Because we've all done that. And it is a deep, eternal relationship with ourselves that sets us free. A deep, eternal relationship with ourselves. A deep, eternal, loving relationship with ourselves. And we're not talking about ego-mind stuff. We're talking about heart-mindedness, where we deeply and eternally love ourselves. And that we know on a constant basis we're never alone. Ever. as I have said so many times. But this really is, on this planet, in this now moment, it is a completely new direction for this civilization. I mean, completely the opposite of what it has been following with itself for so very, very, very long. When I share that we are in this massive spiritual evolution, that's exactly what it is. What does that encompass? You discovering who and what you are, because you've decided to do that. See, that's your commitment. That's what it is. It is your commitment to yourself, nobody else. It's a commitment. You commit to yourself that you're going to find out about who and what you are, and the only place you can do that is in the now through the meditation to get you started in a really good direction. And after a period of time, you'll be in the now all the time. And the meditations will just reinforce it. One might say, well, being in the now is boring. What is being in the now? Moment to moment. You're focused on the exact moment you're in every moment. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be, clipping your fingernails. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you're focused on the very moment. This is how you begin to master the ego mind. This is how you do it. This is how you begin to master your thoughts. By being in the now, the mind can't touch you. Can't touch you. The ego cannot touch you in the now. And if it does, if it starts to pull you out of the now, you'll know it. You'll say, I'm not going. Staying right here in the now. This is how all of us will master our ego mind and our thoughts. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. The mind is always busy focusing on something. It is stuck in an automatic and unconscious perpetual shift of attention. It has been busy your whole life and desperately needs a vacation. Your exercise for today is to not focus on anything at all, anything. Get a timer and for 3 minutes practice having no focus at all, zero focus. To prepare yourself for this feat, it's best that you sit down, lean against a wall, relax every muscle in your body. Once your body is at ease, simply experience your own presence. If your mind starts to dream, think, and wander, reset the clock and start over. Do not push your attention onto or off of anything. The mind cannot focus on not focusing. Just be in a deep let go and surrender to your own presence. Be completely present to the presence inside of you. Surrender to the continuous experience of your presence, and this universe will provide you with everything you've been searching for your entire life. Once you stop focusing completely for a few solid minutes, you will empty yourself out and be filled with the highest possible awareness that you can imagine. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. And we'll return here Friday, February 28, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call, and all the rest. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. Open your heart and allow the magic to flood in.